personally, I did notice a difference right away. Like in elementary, I remember I was shy to talk just because I wasn't sure what language to talk. A little background, my first language was Spanish. And then I learned English through daycare and also school. So that's a little bit. So I remember elementary, I was very shy. I felt like I never belonged just because I didn't know, like, do I speak English? Do I speak Spanish? Over time, obviously, as I grew up, I realized that at home, we only spoke Spanish. And at school, I only was allowed to speak English. Not to say only, just because I could speak Spanish. There was other students around that spoke Spanish with me, but I remember it was kind of frowned upon. Teachers used to say, like, don't speak Spanish around us, around people who don't understand Spanish, because they get the wrong impression that you're talking bad about them. So I remember that was like an issue. That's a really good question. I do feel like growing up, I wasn't from either there or here just because my Spanish when I was a kid was really bad. Mind you, I was going to daycare, I was going to school. I would say 70% of my day I was speaking English, and then 30% of my day I'll be speaking Spanish. So obviously my Spanish wasn't the best. I would mix up like pronouns. I would mix up how do you say properties, like she went to Maria's house, and then in Spanish it's a different way you put house of Maria. So obviously I felt like my Spanish was never really strong as a kid. It sucked because my cousins did make fun of me, which I don't hate them for them. I feel like that pushed me to try to speak more Spanish, not really more Spanish, but like improve my Spanish. And I feel like I was never really Americanized, if that makes sense, just because yes, I spoke English, but I did have like a little accent, and I had different cultures, different beliefs that not a lot of my classmates had. Like they understand like Lent. They didn't understand why I didn't like eat meat on Fridays. Like little myths here and there, like like don't go outside with your hair wet. Just like myths like that. Like my parents raised me as a Mexican, but I was being raised as an American because at school that's all I was around. People, I wasn't around a lot of Hispanics that I wish I was. Classes. But yeah, I always had the pressure. I need to finish school, just because like the feeling that my parents came to America, and they always from since I was in like elementary, I remember my dad talked about, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna finish, you're gonna get a degree, you're gonna get a good paying job. That he just never wanted me to be in the workforce. He always wanted me to be educated. He even told us that like our only inheritance is our education. So there was always that pressure, like